Hi everyone, it's Graham here. I'm just going to give you a bit of a demo today on some of the features to do with Google Apps for Business. And in this training, I'm going to focus on using Google Chrome. Now, for those of you that don't know, Google Chrome is another web browser, much like Internet Explorer and Firefox and Safari. But Chrome is actually made by Google. So if you're using Google Apps for Business, using Google Chrome gives you some advantages that you don't usually get, and they're quite significant. So I thought I'd give you a quick demo today and try and explain them to you and show you some of the features. So I'm going to load up Chrome. Now I've actually managed to break mine because I wanted to try and show you how to set it up right from the start, and mine was very well set up. So I broke it, and I broke it good, as you can see. I'll just try and get out of here. Okay, so as much as I can, I've got the very basic core of Google Chrome right now. If I go into a new tab, it's managed to keep my bookmarks and it thinks it knows me. One of the things that they've recently changed is there's now an apps part. Now, if you don't have the apps part and you've got Google Docs, Google Apps for Business, just do a search for Gmail. Okay, go into Gmail, mail.google.com, and if you're not logged in, it'll actually ask you for your password at that stage. Okay, so log in with your password and your username, which is your email address, and your password. Log in so that you can see your Gmail, and then Chrome will actually know who you are and what you're doing. So if you're at that point, or if you've already done it, and you hit New Tab, you'll get a bit of a thing up here indicating that it knows who you are. And if you hover there, you can see which email address you're using. Okay, so I'm going to click on the apps, which has been recently added to Chrome if you're using it with Google Apps for Business. And the basics have come up, but up here on the right, you can see that I'm not signed in. So this is where I've broken my link so that I can hopefully show you how to do it right from the start. So I'm going to sign in. There we go. And I'm going to just do another apps. There we go. Okay, this is interesting part now. If this is a new computer for you, you haven't been using Chrome or anything like that, you can say, no, create a new profile. It's asking if the current data here, do I want to remove it and just start with a new profile, which is stored on Google servers, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail in a second, or do I want to link everything that I've been doing with my account? I'm going to go link. It really doesn't matter either which way for me. Now it's telling me that I'm signed in. Very good. Takes a few minutes for it to synchronize and everything. Now the key here is if you're using another browser with Google Apps for Business, say Internet Explorer, it'll give you some of the functionality. It will give you your Gmail, you'll be able to access your calendar, you'll be able to access Google Drive, which is Google Docs, and you can access everything. But it's doing it by sending requests backwards and forwards to the Google server. Now, if you log into Google Chrome, you do it once, it's all there. And what it also does is it keeps a profile, much like your emails, much like your calendar, it keeps a profile on their servers of your Google Chrome. So what does that mean? It means that if this computer blew up on me today and I had to do a reinstall or repair, or even if I had to get a brand new computer going, there, it's just synced. If I got a brand new computer, or if I had to quickly temporarily switch onto someone else's computer to access all my data, I can load Chrome, I can put in my data like I just did, my details through the apps button, and as soon as I do that, give it a minute or two, and you'll see exactly what I'm seeing here on any computer. That's my background that I can show you how to do later. All my toolbars will come in, even my browsing history, and you can sort of choose which browsing history you want to keep, which you don't. I've got nothing really to hide, so I don't mind if it records all my browsing history, which is very handy. So if I do another search in Google, you'll see what I've already clicked on by the purple. Okay, so what it's doing is it's storing my web browser experience in the Google servers right next to my emails, right next to my calendars and everything, and it's incredibly handy. So it's just that flexibility, especially with me. I use my PC at home, which I'm doing right now, and I've got a portable laptop for using on the road when I'm visiting clients. And if I, which I have, if I put Chrome onto my Android phone or my iPad, I get all this on my iPad and my Android phone. So wherever I go, my toolbars, my favorites are all there. It's incredibly handy. Okay, so that's a bit of the reason why to use Chrome as opposed to some of the other browsers if you're using Google Apps for Business. It really is a good solution. Now let's get into some of the functionality of it. I'm going to close a few of these apps. In fact, I'll just go back to one tab. Okay, so when you load it up, pretty much that was the intro one because I didn't have an account in there. Now it's got my pretty background, it's got some of my favorites that I've been to, and the Google search. If I go to apps, that changes everything. Now it used to default to this. It defaults to Google search now. I actually preferred it when it used to default to this. If I want to search, I can just type it up here with Google Chrome. But they've changed it, and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. You just got to adapt. But this is the apps page, and as you can see, there's Google Docs, which has kind of been replaced, but there's Google Drive, which a lot of people have trouble getting to. It's sitting right there for me. So I can just click that, and away I go. Open a new tab, apps, and I can go to my Gmail. And if I click this and open and go calendar, and there you go, all my cool stuff. And alternatively, from any one of these, there's also, and that actually does work inside the other browsers, so that's quite cool. But it's just the Google stuff, whereas in here, as I'm about to show you with the apps, there are other things that you can do. There's Vend, which is a point of sale software. There's Xero, which is an accounting package. I can't even remember what Crackle is. Must have interested me at the time. Google Keep is like a to-do thing. It has one really good advantage, just on a side note there. With Google Keep, you can put that on your phone and it can be set for reminders, but not just reminders based on time, but reminders based on location. You can actually tell it that when you get home to remind you to take the meat out of the fridge, stuff like that. So it's got like a GPS reminder inside it, which is very cool. So quite handy if you've got to remember to do something when you're at somewhere. Anyway, to get things onto this apps page, you go into the store, and it is much like your iTunes and your Google Play. It's got some really cool stuff. So everything you see on there, I think it lets you have the basics. I think a few of these things come up. I've chosen the rest. And to do that, I've just gone to the store there, which brings up this, and I went to Popular. Popular is a good place to start. And of course there's games they're putting on there and all kinds of wonderful stuff now. And there's a web version of Outlook.com, so they're not fussy. Anyway, here's some of the Google stuff. So Google Calendar, and you can see by the tick in the corner, I've already got it. Google Keep, I've already got it. All right, let's look for one that I don't have that might be useful. Just on a side note, these two bring you to the web-based version. If you've installed the program on your computer, it's actually a better way to get to them. But if you work on a lot of computers remotely, they could be quite handy because it gives you web access to your stuff. I'm just going to try this one. So I can just click it there because it's free and it will add to it. But if I want to know more about it, just give it a click in the center. Yeah, it tells me a little bit about itself and everything like that. You've got user experience up here. It's quite high actually. It looks quite good. And there's all related stuff. So it's very much like your iTunes store and your Google Play. I'll add that. And it's asking me if I want to. Yes. And it loads up. Note was successfully installed. Go to my apps page and there's Note. Okay. So that's quite a quick, easy way to do it. Quick Note, remove from Chrome. So you can right click to remove them. You open as a standard pin, as a pinned tab, open as a window, open full size, whatever you like. I'm just going to remove it because I've got plenty of to-do programs. So that's the basics. I recommend, especially if you're using Google Apps for Business, I highly recommend you get Google Plus, Gmail, YouTube, Hangouts. Hangouts is like a Skype version of Google, which I'll probably do a demo on later. Google Drive, Calendar, and whatever other main programs that you're using that are cloud-based. If you're into cloud-based stuff, then this is a very handy port of call. Just troll through. Got some good headers here, so if there's anything else that you're particularly interested in, that's the way to go. Finally, before I wrap this one up, themes. You'll notice I've got quite a nice background theme there. That's just right there, themes. There's all your themes that you can have. Now that's unnecessary. You don't have to have it. If you don't, it's just quite a plain old background. I think it's just a white background you get. There's some really nice themes there. One of the key things which I will demonstrate later is if you've got multiple Google accounts, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of a few good organizations, and I've got Gmail access to their accounts. I've also got a personal Gmail account. Switching between all of them can be a bit cumbersome, but Chrome makes that so elegant. You just click up there, and like I said, I'll show you how to get that up and then create new users. But you can see all my accesses there. If I go into my personal one, which again, I think I broke that one too. And then I just do a new tab, and there's all my personal stuff. So I can keep business and pleasure quite separate, and I would just sign in there, and then all my things would come down, which I won't bother. But it's a wonderful way. It's almost having multiple personalities, so it's a very handy way. It doesn't work as well in any of the other browsers I've seen. Like, you don't really get that functionality. You can have Google and you can have a drop-down box for all your different accounts, but it can get very confused if you're switching between, and say, Gmail, and you've still got one of your calendars open on another tab. It gets itself in all kinds of a mess, whereas Google sort of just gives you a different Google for each one, and you can see down here on my taskbar, it's separate, so I can just access them through there either which way. I think I'll wrap that up now, guys. Thank you for listening.